What's up, homies? Today we are learning about monologues, and if you look at the word monologue, it actually has two word roots in it. It's got the root mono, which means one, and log, which means speech. And you've probably also heard the word dialogue. Di means two, and log means speech. So a dialogue is a speech between or a conversation between two people. But a monologue is a conversation had by one person. And often in theatrical productions, you might see a monologue because a character is speaking to the audience, or maybe is speaking to themselves. Maybe the character is speaking to the gods or to God. But in all these cases, monologues can be really handy for communicating an important part of a story while just one character is speaking. Monologues are also really good for auditions. So when you're trying out for a part, you often are going to be asked to recite a monologue or to present a monologue, and you want to be really skilled in doing that because it's how you're judged in terms of your acting abilities. So let's talk about what monologues are all about. If my skill, there we go. Okay. So this is something we talked about in class a few weeks ago, slating. Remember, slating is basically where you come onto the stage when you're going to present something, and before you just jump right into your presentation, you introduce yourself. So you might say something like, "Hello, my name is Sarah Whitman, and today I'll be performing the monologue blah 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 by blah blah blah." And what you want to do is you want to make sure that when you slate, you speak confidently and articulately and with good volume. And then you want to take a deep breath between your slating and when you start your performance. So you really want to take that breath because it allows you the chance to get into character. So, for example, let's say I'm doing a monologue from Lord of the Rings and I'm playing that creepy dude, Gollum, Smeagol, whatever his name is. He's got a creepy voice, right? So I'm not going to say, "Hello, my name is Sarah Whitman and I'm doing this." No, that'd be weird. So you'd say, "Hello, my name is Sarah Whitman and I'm performing a monologue from The Lord of the Rings called My Precious," or whatever you're going to call it. And then you would take your deep breath because you need that deep breath to get into character, both physically and vocally. So you're not going to stand the same way, you're not going to speak the same way in the role of Gollum or Smeagol than you would in the role of Sarah Whitman yourself. So you would take that deep breath and then you would crouch down on the floor and say, "He wants it. He needs it. My precious," or whatever it is, that you're doing. So slating is important, but take that breath after. So this is what we already talked about. A monologue is spoken by a single character. Um, Typically, they're speaking to themselves. They're kind of articulating their thoughts. They're talking to the gods, especially in ancient Greek theater. They were often talking to the gods, or maybe they're talking to the audience, or maybe a combination of sorts. Um, every monologue is a little different, but you'll start to pay attention as you're watching and thinking about who is the audience for this monologue. Now, I'll share this presentation with you, but here are a bunch of links to some cool examples. These are worth watching because they're all school appropriate and they are all also really interesting because there's different voices being used. We spent a lot of time this year talking about the voice and how to use our voices to communicate a different character. So you'll see the way that this is done in these different examples. So definitely worth checking out. Now, an objective is also something to be thinking about. You don't want to give a monologue without a sense of your purpose. So when you're planning out what you're saying, well, you usually have a script that already tells you what to say. Sometimes people write their own monologues, but if you're working with a script, there's already lines written out for you. You have to figure out though, what is the purpose of this scene? What do you want as the speaker? And so as you're looking at monologues today, you're going to be looking at a lot of different ones. I want you to keep that at the forefront of your mind. What does the character want? What is their purpose in this scene? Sometimes we also talk about the overall purpose in the larger story, and that we call the super objective. But I want you to focus on just the objective. In that scene, in that monologue, what does your character want? So that's going to be a major area of focus. Um, as we move into this unit, we're going to start thinking about other factors related to monologues. We're going to be talking about the obstacle, which is the thing that gets in the way of the character's objective. For example, if I'm giving a monologue and I am arguing how about my anger with my mom for not letting me go out to on a date with a boy that I like. My objective is to go on that date, and my obstacle is my mom. Now, the tactics are how you go about getting the thing that you want. And the stakes are basically what you're putting out there, what you could lose or gain if things go your way or don't go your way. The last little term is just something called a beat. And a beat is basically where there's some kind of a shift in the emotional state of the speaker. It usually is indicated by a pause. It often, sometimes in a script for a monologue, it'll say in parentheses beat. And I've seen students go to read a monologue script and they think they're supposed to say beat. You're not supposed to say that. It's basically just a note for you as the actor that you should pause and kind of take that breath and sort of shift gears a little bit, change your emotional state, the way your voice is in some way. Um, that's pretty much all I want you to understand for today. I'm excited for this because I want you to get a really good handle on what monologues are and how powerful they can be before you go about choosing and memorizing and performing your own. So thanks for your attention, and I look forward to seeing all of you hopefully soon. All right, bye.